hour. We have the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Again, this is the 2 o'clock advisory. Just came across the wire. It is 50 miles south of Key West. Now, that's the center of circulation. And look at the winds, 100 miles an hour. That makes it a Category 2 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It is moving due west at 15, and its lowest estimated central pressure, 976 millibars.
Well, our crews are spread out throughout South Florida. Meteorologist Mike Seidel is in Key West, Florida, an area that has already reported a bit of wind damage and flooding. Now, Mike, it looks like the eye of the hurricane is going to pass by to the south, but you're still going to get some pretty rough conditions the next few hours.
Yeah, we're expecting wind about 60 miles an hour. I've clocked gusts down here between 45 and 50. That's been about it. So we're talking about a middle-range tropical storm force wind gust. As far as the Gulf is concerned, we're looking out here. Visibility has come down. We're getting a pretty good squall. We're down to less than a mile visibility, and boy, the rain is whipping. And look at the waves out here. They're really pounding out here. They're running about 2 to 3.
A little bit of difficulty, of course. We are kind of in the middle of a hurricane here. Actually, the center of the circulation where Mike is, of course, in the Keys here, the Key West area, the southernmost island of the Keys. And we are noticing the center of circulation push just south of the Key West area. Now, it is about 50 miles south of Key West at this time. That's the official location of the eye of the storm. It is moving west, due west at 15, and that means it'll move right into the Gulf of Mexico as we go through the next 6 to 12 hours. But with that said, we still have hurricane warnings in effect for the southernmost shore here of Florida, including the Straits here. And you can see from Chokoloskee all the way to Florida City, there is a hurricane warning. And we have hurricane warnings, too, for the northern shores of eastern or western Cuba, and even the southern shores, too. There are hurricane warnings in effect. And tropical storm warnings have been issued a little farther north to include Lake Okeechobee here and up to the Jupiter Inlet across the southeastern parts of the Sunshine State. Let's show you the visible satellite picture because we can clearly identify the eye of the storm right here. And again, that is Key West. So the eye right now is moving due south of Key West at about 50 miles an hour. And that is good news because we don't have the eye of the storm where we have the strongest winds. Right now, some of the strongest winds are actually on the south side. And that is great news for Key West. So you're not getting the brunt of some of the biggest effects from Rita as you could have gotten in the Key West area if those stronger winds were on the north. But there is still the chance that some of those strong winds on the south side of the circulation could kind of veer back and pull back to the north and west as it all rotates around the center of circulation. So we are watching Key West for the next several hours at the very least, even though right now where you see the yellows and the oranges, that's where we have some of the stronger bands and some of the heavier rain. So that is great news, as mentioned, for the Key West area as the strongest moving across South Florida or the southern parts of the Keys. The strongest winds are just to the south of the center of circulation. Let's show you the overall winds now. We've had winds gusting in excess of 20, 30, 40, and even 50 miles an hour toward the Keys now. As you can see, some of the outer bands are moving across the southern peninsula. So as the center of circulation continues to move just south of Key West and moves into the Gulf of Mexico, all eyes are open, of course, here along the Gulf Coast, mainly the Texas Gulf Coast and the western coastal areas of Louisiana, because this is the projection. Now, we're expecting it to continue moving due west for a time, and then as we approach the weekend, it could veer to the north, and that's when we think it will get closer to the coast of Texas and even western Louisiana. So we are definitely watching Rita very, very closely for you, and we will be the first to let you know if this hurricane makes any changes in terms of increased winds, increased intensity, or whatever. We will definitely keep you posted on the very latest. Here's a look at Miami's impacts now. We've had very heavy rain, street flooding, and the heavy rains and the winds gusting up to 50 miles an hour, and possible power outages in the Miami area. Isolated tornadoes are possible as well. Jeff?
All right, so why don't we go ahead and give you the bottom line on this entire system. It is right now at its closest approach of the eye to the lower Keys as we head on through the next couple of hours. That's when the worst effects will be there. It's then going to be moving into the Gulf of Mexico, and again, probably the most ominous thing down there at the bottom, additional intensification is expected. Now, we also have some problems now in the northeast areas. Report